I think I'm a huge overall He-Man fan. A little funky.
Somebody that sort of breaks the mold of what a fan is.
It's something I love. It's something I'm passionate about.
He feels like if he doesn't save them, they're just going to get destroyed.
I enjoy collecting it, and it's something I wouldn't give up for the world.
I mean, he's a guy that has this immense collection that surpasses most any that you would see in the world for He-Man, but at the same time, he's a regular guy and you would have no idea unless you went to his house.
Hi, I'm Josh Van Pelt. I'm from Jackson, New Jersey, and I'm a huge He-Man fan.
This is the be-all and end-all for me. This is my girl.
Anything that has to do with He-Man or She-Ra or any of those things, he's very interested in.
I really love the woman power aspect of the property. You know, she's just a strong female. She's equal with He-Man.
She's sci-fi, she's Barbie, she's, you know, fantasy, Masters of the Universe.
I think he's really sweet, really outgoing person, and I think it's wonderful that he loves He-Man and She-Ra so much.
Hi, I'm Topher Hance from Midlothian, Virginia, and I am the biggest She-Ra fan in the world.
He-Man was a cartoon that ran from 1983 to 1985. It followed the battles between He-Man and Skeletor on the planet Eternia. It was a cartoon series that drove home the message of good versus evil. Most storylines featured Skeletor trying to take over the planet Eternia, and this was either done through just taking over the Royal Castle, the Royal Palace, or actually taking over Castle Grayskull, which was the home of the Sorceress, who aided He-Man and gave He-Man his powers. There was a power sword, which He-Man had control over, which he used in almost every episode to foil Skeletor's plans.
She-Ra first aired in 1985. It was a spin-off of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. She-Ra was better known as Princess Adora, and when she held aloft her magical sword and said, "For the honor of Grayskull, I am She-Ra," she became She-Ra, and she also transformed her horse Spirit into Swiftwind. She-Ra protected the Crystal Castle from a variety of different villains, but her main nemesis was Hordak and his evil horde. And He-Man was her brother, not her boyfriend.
Archiving He-Man history means so much to me because He-Man meant so much to me as a child. And I'm sure it meant so much to millions of kids, not just in the US, but worldwide. As a child, I was a huge fan of He-Man. It was the #1 cartoon for me. It was the #1 toy for me. It was the #1 cartoon and toy to play with at the same time. Playing with the figures while you watched the cartoon was one of the big appeals for me. That you could actually see the characters on there and actually take the story that you saw even a bit further because you actually had the toys in your hand.
Yeah, so I got a couple more figures to show you.
I am strongly influenced by both of my parents, but mainly my father. He was a collector since childhood. He collected everything from the arrowheads he found to monster cards to monster toys. He collected everything. He's 50 now and he is collecting more than he's ever collected. My father has taught me a lot about collecting. He's also taught me that collecting is not a race. There is no end game. The collecting part, the hunt for the great item, is actually the thrill.
Where are these from? I've been buying them to stock up on them.
I've been a She-Ra fan since I was a kid, about 10 years old. She-Ra was viewed by a lot of parents as a doll series and not an action figure series. And when I was younger, I wanted to play with dolls. I wanted to play with action figures too. I love sci-fi things. I had lots of, Star Wars and G.I. Joe and stuff, but, I wanted She-Ra because she was pretty and she was girly and she was basically a doll, but she was also an action figure. And she was kind of a combination of the best of two worlds. She sort of influenced the way that I look at things now in my life as a gay man, is that I like to have the best of both worlds. I like to, live in the straight world and be friends with a lot of straight people, but I also like to have pride in being gay. And not flaunting it necessarily, but definitely not ashamed of it.
My son is the light of my life.
My mom, I think, is definitely supportive of my fandom, just in the sense that she's accepting of it. Because, it is kind of super gay to be into collecting dolls.
as a parent, it's a little hard to understand his interests because people think, oh, he still likes toys. There must be something wrong with him, kind of thing. But I see all of the good that has come out of it. That he's been really creative and fun and just a better person for it.
This is my family room. When I'm watching TV, I really like to look at my He-Man stuff, including my favorite store display. It's a light-up toy display that actually incorporated some of the original figures. Another item that I really like, it's a light-up display. It's really great. As a child, I was a huge fan of He-Man. It waned a little bit in my teen years, I think, as it does with most people. Then again, I met my wife while we were still in high school. She bought me my first He-Man item, and from there my fandom exploded.
Josh has always collected things, but when it came to He-Man, he really just latched onto it for some reason. He really wanted to find everything that was out there.
This is the first He-Man collectible that I bought as a collector. And this is the collectible that actually started me on my journey of collecting everything you see here today. At first I was just regaining my childhood collection. As I got a little bit deeper into it, I realized that there's a whole world out there of He-Man things to collect.
He-Man's very nostalgic for him, and I think it wouldn't be as important to him if I hadn't watched it as well, and we remembered some of the same episodes, had played with some of the same toys.
These are our new sheets. I got these for you.
I think it was something that we sort of found together, and so then we sort of continued it together, and it just had a little bit more special place because of that.
Collecting He-Man has become the common bond between my wife and I. It's something that we do daily together, and it's something that we'll always have together.
I bought that for you.
Okay, thank you. It's a birthday present. I've been collecting for 10 years, and if I said I spent $20,000 a year, that would add up to $200,000. That's probably a high estimate, but it would not be unreasonable. This being my office, I do have some reference material that I always need handy. This includes Mattel catalogs. These were sent to retailers so they could see what was available that year. Wasn't fortunate enough to own one of these when I was a child, but fortunately I found one of these over the years. Now own 4. It's just a classic item you could ride.
I definitely support Josh 100%. I egg him on. I'm probably an instigator. If he's wishy-washy about buying something, I'm like, oh, get it, why not? As long as you have the room. And it's not really a time or a money thing, it's more of a space thing.
I am definitely running out of room in my house. Right now it takes up 2 bays of the garage, an office, and an additional bedroom. And everything is boxed, neatly, tightly boxed. There is no more room. In these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows of boxes, probably about 80% of my collection, plus the closet. I've tried to keep it as clear as possible because often I do have to get in here for cataloging purposes. Collecting for me has become my lifestyle. There is no Josh Van Pelt without the He-Man collection.